everyone, we are finishing up this packet. We've got 3 more examples left, and by now, after the class, you should be able to start doing some of these on your own. So, these are definitely more difficult ones, but I want you to try them, and then we'll go over them so you can see where you made your mistake or where you're stuck, and that will help you learn. Okay, the formula, S is equal to 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h is used to find the surface area of a cylinder. Solve this formula for h. Alright, we don't have to know how the formula works. We don't have to know what to plug in. All we're doing is moving pieces around to solve for h. So let's start off by finding h. Is it on the left side or the right side of the equal sign? Okay, I hope you said the right side. Is the h in the first term or the second term? Alright, I hope you said the second term. So here's my h. You can just circle it. You can highlight it. You can do whatever, just so you know that's what we need by itself on one side of the equal sign. Alright, so I need to get rid of the term that doesn't have the h in it. The term that doesn't have the h in it is the first term. Let's move it to the other side. And remember, when I'm moving between sides, I need to do inverse operation. So it looks like this term is positive. 2 pi r squared. It's a positive 2 pi r squared. So I'm going to subtract that term to move it to the other side. Minus 2 pi r squared. Alright, what I do on one side, I'm going to do the other. Alright, you notice that I moved it away from the s. I don't line it up underneath the s because they're not like terms. I cannot subtract them. They are not like terms. So those cancel out. I moved it officially. Now I can rewrite this in one of 2 ways. I can write this as negative 2 pi r squared plus s. I could do that, right? One term and the positive second term. Or I could write it the other way. And put the s term first. It really doesn't matter. They're both the same thing. Let's go ahead and put the s term first so I don't have any like a negative in front. So I'll do s minus 2 pi r squared. So my term that was already over here, and then my term that I moved. Alright? The only thing I have left on this side is my second term. And again, h is what I'm trying to get by itself. Let me go ahead and highlight so we remember. Alright. Now remember, within terms, we're multiplying. So this means 2 times pi times r times h. So all of that is multiplication, and we know that the inverse of multiplication is what? Alright, I hope you said division. So that's my last step. All I'm going to do is divide both sides by every term that is being multiplied by h. 2 pi r and 2 pi r. That's all I'm doing. Alright, so now I'm left with, and I'm just going to, I can't simplify it any more than this, right? This is as far as it gets because they're all letters, essentially. Variables, pi, like I cannot simplify it more than this. So I'm just going to say h is equal to s minus 2 pi r squared divided by 2 pi r. Alright, this is my numerator, this is my denominator. That is as simple as it gets. We solved for h. So it was really just a 2-step equation. Alright, I want you to try number 2 on your own and tell me what you get. It's okay to make a mistake. It's fine. All these questions on Edpuzzle, they don't count against you. I just use them to see what I need to review or what I didn't teach very well. So like you getting it wrong helps me with instruction so that I know I need to review it. So don't stress about getting these questions wrong. You get 100 for just participating and watching the entire video. Alright, let's go ahead and work through it. F is equal to 9 over 5 c plus 32. Alright, how many terms do I have on the left-hand side? Just one. I just want to make sure you can identify terms. How many terms do I have on the right-hand side? I have 2. The first term is 9 over 5c, and the second term is 32. All right, I'm solving this formula for C, and this is to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius for temperature. All right, so C is on the right-hand side, so I'm going to try and cancel out everything on the right-hand side. I need to move the terms that don't have C in it first. So which term does not have C in it? The first term or the second term? I hope you said the second term. And all I'm going to do is subtract, because that's the opposite of addition, the inverse operation. All right, what I do on one side, I need to do on the other. I did not line it up under the F because we need to remember they're not like terms. So I'm going to write F minus 32. And I just put the F first because it was there first, right? So F minus 32 is equal to 9 over 5C. That's the only thing I have left on the right-hand side. All right, we're so close. I just need to get, I need to cancel out this coefficient in front of C. So what's the number in front of C? What's that coefficient? All right, 9 over 5. And we already said to cancel out these fractions, if you have a coefficient of a fraction, you multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So let's go ahead, and when I draw parentheses like this, that means multiplication. So my reciprocal is 5 over 9. I just flipped them. So I multiplied that side by 5 over 9. And I'm going to multiply this side by 5 over 9. So you see, I just put them into parentheses. All right, so on this side, they cancel out. I have a 5 on the top and the bottom, they cancel, and a 9 on the top and the bottom, they cancel. So my only thing left on this side is C, and we were trying to get C by itself. Over here, I have 5 over 9 times F minus 32. What should you be thinking to simplify this? There's one more thing we can do to write this in the most simple form. All right, I hope you're thinking distributive property. I'm going to distribute this fraction to both of these terms. All right, and I'm going to actually move this over here to give us more room. So I'm going to write 5 over 9 times F minus 32 is equal to C. All right, so when I distribute the first term, 5 over 9F, that's all it's going to be. Now let's go ahead and do the second term. So I multiply by the numerator and divide by the denominator. So I take it and I do negative 32 times the numerator of 5, negative 160. And I'll take that negative 160 and divide it by 9. All right, look, it cannot be reduced. Do you see how that, it cannot be divided evenly. So I'm just going to leave it as a fraction. All right, the last thing we need to do is to check and see if this fraction can be reduced. So we know 9 can be reduced because 3 can go into it, right? So let's see if 160 is divisible by 3. It's not. So that's as simple as we need to leave it. The last step I'm going to do is just switch the sides of the equation so that I have my variable first. So same thing, I just move the C to the left side and move the left side to the right side. And that's it. All right, number 3. The formula for calculating volume of a cone is V equals 1/3 pi, and that dot means times, so times R squared times H. Solve this formula for H. All right. So, how many terms do I have on the left-hand side? Just one. How many terms do I have on the right-hand side? Just one. This is all one term because we're multiplying everything. But I have a fraction, and I want to get rid of the fraction before I do anything. So remember, to get rid of a fraction, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is going to give me 3 over 1. And 3 over 1 is the same thing as just 3. 3 divided by 1 is 3. So I'm going to multiply both sides of this equation by 3. That'll cancel out my fraction. So now it leaves me with an easier equation to work with. 3v is equal to pi r squared h. Remember, h is what we're trying to solve for. And all I have left to do is get rid of the pi and the r squared. Remember, this is all one term, and I'm multiplying these two by h. The inverse operation of multiplication is division. So to cancel them out, I'm going to divide both sides by pi r squared. That will cancel those out. And I'm left with 3v over pi r squared is equal to h. And my last step will just be to write it with the variable first. So I'm just flipping the two sides of the equation. And that's it. All right, I know this seems difficult because we're not dealing with numbers, we're dealing with variables. But it's really the same rules that we've been doing with the linear equations and linear inequalities. We're just using the inverse operation. If we have fractions, to cancel out the fractions, we're just going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So you can do it, I promise. It's just using those same rules. Let me know what questions you have, what you want me to review, if you want more examples of this, and have a great weekend.